When subtracting two fractions, it's going to work very similar to when we added them. I can take the two numerators and put them over the same denominator. 5 minus 3 is going to give me 2. The denominator stays the same. However, I always need to check, is it possible to reduce the fraction? And in this case, I can, so the final answer is 1/4. Okay, now your turn, and remember to give your answer in lowest terms. So 7 minus 3 over 10 is going to equal 4/10, but that can be reduced to 2/5. Now in some cases you may want to subtract a fraction from a whole number, and to do that we need to have a fraction to subtract from. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the 2 to become 1 and 5/5. Essentially, I'm borrowing one of the whole numbers and changing it into a fraction. Now that I've done that, I can now write a fraction where I have 5 minus 3, all of that over 5, which is going to be 1 and 2/5. Okay, now for your turn, we're going to subtract 2/7 from 3. So I'm going to borrow one of the numbers from 3, and I'm going to change it into 7/7. And now that I've done that, try to solve it. Okay, so I can now write this as 7 minus 2 over 7, which is going to be 2 and 5/7. Now in this example, we've got two mixed numbers, and the proper fraction that I'm subtracting from, 5, is greater than the 1. So in this case, this is going to be fairly easy. I can take my two whole numbers, subtract them from each other, and then I can take the two fractions, 5 minus 1 over 6. 5 minus 2 is 3. 5 minus 1 is 4. So my answer is 3 and 4/6. But like always, we need to reduce this if possible. So I need to change this to 3 and 2/3. Okay, now your turn, and remember to give your answer in lowest terms. So I first subtract the whole numbers, 7 minus 1, and then I'm going to subtract the proper fractions, which is again going to be 7 minus 1 over the denominator 8. So that's going to give me 6 and 6/8. But that can be reduced to 6 and 3/4. Okay, unlike the last example, the number that we're going to be subtracting from is smaller than the number that we're subtracting. So in this case, we are going to have to borrow a number. So I need to borrow from the 3. I'm going to reduce the 3 down to a 2, and I'm going to borrow a 6/6. If I add 6/6 to 1/6, that's going to give me 7/6. And then the minus 2 and 5/6 just stays the same. Now that I have a number that's greater on the left to subtract from, now I can just subtract the 2 minus 2, the whole numbers, and subtract the two proper fractions. So that's going to leave me with 0 plus 2/6. And if I reduce that, the final answer is going to be 1/3. Now in your example, we see that once again, the proper fraction on the left is smaller than the proper fraction on the right. So how do we need to rewrite the 7 and 2/7 in order to solve this problem? So we need to change the 7 to a 6 and borrow 7/7. And if I add 7/7 to 2/7, that's going to give me 9/7. Now what would the final answer be? We take 6 minus 3, the whole numbers, subtract 9 minus 5. So that's going to give me 3. 9 minus 5 is 4, and the denominator is 7, and that cannot be reduced. That's it for this one. Bye-bye.